Okay, a few days ago, New York had a Democrat, finally has a Democrat majority in their state Senate. All these bills that they've been wanting to pass, progressive ones, on the sidelines, that conservatives have prevented, and they're going like full swing ahead. And of all days, this first week, they can start working and passing bills. They picked the day of the anniversary of Roe v. Wade, the day of the pro-life march, to pass the legalization of baby killing. There's really no other way to say it. You can call it a fetus, a blob of tissue, products of conception. Sonograms have kind of made a change with that in the quote-unquote scientific world, but it is no longer in the criminal code to take the life of a viable, able to be living outside the womb baby. But one key point with this that I'm not sure how this is going to pan out, partial birth abortion was introduced by Bill Clinton, and they deceitfully said that it was like only to save the life of a mother, which is a lie, because any mother in any serious medical condition who's pregnant would not have her baby turn breech inside her and the baby pulled out and then the head collapsed and pulled out. It makes no sense. A C-section would be done. And what they meant by the life of a mother, they meant the health of a mother, and by that they mean mental health, emotional health, financial health. And so when people got wind of what it was, it's no longer the law of the land, but I think it was brought back. And then there's the Born Alive Act. If a baby was going to be aborted and is born alive, are you allowed to just throw it in the garbage, leave it on a cold table till it dies? But now that we know that there's organ harvesting and body parts for sale with big profit and Planned Parenthood in the mix, late-term abortion, I learned, is usually done by a lethal injection of digoxin to stop the baby's heart, and the baby's delivered. They'll take a pregnant mom and take a needle and they'll poke. It doesn't matter if they poke the baby in the eye or in the head anywhere or in the chest, and then inject it with the digoxin. I am not sure if they're going to be allowed to do partial birth and if they're going to be able to harvest organs from that baby if the mother says yeah. There's a lot of profit, I'm sure, involved in this. All the ramifications of this, it's just mind-boggling. But the hypocrisy of these women and men who claim to be for women's health, when abortion never is healthy for a woman in any way whatsoever. Just common sense. But this was from January 22nd, 2019.
Can you explain why you repealed the criminal provisions pertaining to abortion in the penal law?
Thank you. Madam President, through you, it's a medical procedure. It actually should never have been in the criminal code. But again, it was 1970 the last time we took up the law in New York State. So I won't presume what people were thinking in 1970, but since 1973, it's been very explicit under federal law and under a series of federal and state constitutional lawsuits that this is a health care service and should be in our health statute.
Senator Ritchie? Will the sponsor continue to yield?
Will the sponsor continue to yield?
Certainly.
Do you believe it is good public policy to repeal criminal violations for individuals who take by force a woman's right to carry a pregnancy to term.
I apologize, I couldn't quite hear you. Can you repeat that?
Sure. Do you
Through you,
believe,
Madam President.
do you believe it is good public policy to repeal criminal violations for individuals who take by force a woman's right to carry a pregnancy to term?
Thank you, Madam President. I don't think that abortion should be within the criminal code. I believe very strongly in New York State's laws that in fact provide criminal penalty when someone attacks a woman, a pregnant woman, a man. We have very specific criminal laws that can and are applied by prosecutors when someone attempts to murder someone, one attempts a violent felony against someone, one kidnaps and forces someone against their will into a situation where they can do harm to them. So I'm very confident that New York State law allows for all kinds of appropriate criminal penalties if someone is attacked, whether or not they are pregnant. But no, abortion was never a crime since we've established in 1970 the right, and in 1973 forward. So I don't believe the appropriate place for criminal penalties are related to the abortion law per se.
And a fabrication.
That's not true, because they've had to add something to that so that it's not a crime to take the life of a baby or injure a pregnant mom to cause an abortion.
At worst. The reality is this bill can be distilled really into one clear aspect, and I want to attach my comments to my colleague, Senator Gallivan. The reality is this bill today clearly defines, with the move from the criminal statute to a different part of the law, it basically says that we simply do not place any value, legally speaking, on the life of the unborn child, even up to the last minutes of, almost up to birth. There is no legal protection or legal value on that child's life, and the reason is because it undercuts the larger argument. And so for those reasons, Madam President, I proudly and regrettably vote no.
Ort, Ransenhofer,
Okay, and this is the moment that the bill is passed and they actually cheer. And the men, they're all like wearing red or pink scarves. Gotta wonder what the hell that's all about.
Robach, Sereno, Seward, Tedisco, and Young. Ayes 38, nays 24.
The bill is passed.
You gotta wonder how many of them know, really, what they're doing, what they're cheering for. Disorder in the chambers. Okay, this was January 25th. In their own words, I think Cuomo's got a lot of ambitions.
What have you accomplished for me? So passing the law that changes reality, that's what it's about.
See what he just said?
So passing the law that changes reality, that's what it's about, and that's what we're doing. And every one of these bills is a juxtaposition to what they're doing. They say in Washington We're going to appoint Supreme Court justices who can roll back Roe v. Wade, because we want to take us back 47 years ago. Roe v. Wade was decided. 47 years. And this president and this administration wants to take us back 47 years. We say, no, no. You're taking us back, we're going forward. We're going to sign a letter. We're going to pass a woman's right to choose and put it into the law, and I want a constitutional amendment so no legislature or governor can change it.
He uses scare tactics. He did this with the Gun Safe Act, using Sandy Hook. We have to do this at midnight and without time to read the bill because it's just so urgent. And this, he pushed that any second now, the newly nominated Supreme Court Justice Kavanaugh, he's going to make that difference, and they're going to roll back Roe v. Wade, and there'll be back alley coat hanger abortions again. Which, ironically, that's what this bill does. It allows for non-doctors now to perform these late-term abortions. Well,
it's all the same point. They believe in a duality of society. One set of rules for the rich and the powerful, and another set of rules for everyone else. Next week, we're going to pass the Child Victims Act, which is very simple. Whoever abuses a child should be held liable. I don't care if you're rich, I don't care if you're powerful, I don't care if you're a rabbi, a priest, or a shoemaker. Whoever abuses a child should be liable.
so next week, they're going to protect children.
A seal, and we said, Statue of Liberty, e pluribus unum, it's on this flag, on the U.S. seal, behind the president's desk. All he has to do is turn around and look at it. It says, e pluribus unum, out of many, one. We will accept and we will promise equality. That's the American value. Don't preach to us about who's more American and more patriotic. We believe in the original founding of this nation. Full equality for all.
Now this is post Sandy Hook, pre New York Safe Act.
Of what could be happening here in New York State.
It's simple. No one hunts with an assault rifle. No one needs 10 bullets to kill a deer. And too many innocent people have died already.
Governor Andrew Cuomo wants New York to become the national leader on gun control issues. He is proposing to tighten the assault weapon ban, eliminate high-capacity ammunition clips, and revoke firearms licenses from those who mental health professionals deem likely to cause serious harm.
Save lives! Set an example for the rest of the nation. Let them look at New York and say, this is what you can do, and this is what you should do. This is New York, the progressive capital. You show them how we lead.
The governor's proposals are already meeting resistance from the state group called SCOPE. I talked with its president.
These guns are not a problem in crime, and the only one that this bans will affect is law-abiding gun owners who will be made into criminals by the actions of the government.
SCOPE President Stephen Allstadt claims that what are being labeled assault weapons are common modern sporting rifles used by tens of thousands of people across New York State.
So clearly, these guns are being demonized.
But the governor doesn't see it that way.
End the madness now! Pass safe, reasonable gun control in the state of New York! Make this state safer!
As that woman said, may Almighty God have mercy on New York State and America.